Today we're going to talk about why letting go might be the biggest mistake you're doing when it comes to this crazy manifesting stuff and changing your life. Whoa! For those of you new here, my name's Tim. I'm a writer. I've written several books on this topic. I've helped a lot of people simplify manifestation, spiritual law of attraction, law of assumption type of concepts. And this channel tries to start where most advice on YouTube never goes. We get deep and we stay deep. And we're jokey while we're doing it sometimes, like in this video. The last video I did talked about some of the limitations to surrendering, to quote unquote letting go. If you haven't watched that video yet, it's worth looking at probably before this one. I will put a link above to that previous video. What I'm about to discuss is advanced, as usual. Don't let my garb or my kind of loose tone fool you. This is not for people who are new to these concepts. This is the advanced stuff. It's especially for people who are, I would say, trying to integrate these, various manifesting spiritual concepts directly into their life on like a practical level. For instance, like if you are like they say, like a heart-led entrepreneur, if like you're a business person who tries to really stay within your heart-centered zone in terms of the value you provide, this is the kind of video that might help you. If you're like many of the people that Marvin Daniels and myself work with when it comes to romantic relationships and people trying to manifest a specific person, quote unquote, this is the kind of advice that might be helpful for you. In short, it's for people who want to get real about manifesting a better life. If you want to discuss theory and think about this stuff theoretically, that's fine, but it's not appropriate for this channel. I don't care about theory. I know more about theory than most people, and I just don't care about it. What's important is getting this stuff to work better in our lives, and that's where the theory comes up short so often for a lot of us. Last video, I was talking about how the theory behind letting go and feeling the feelings, that concept came up short for me recently. And I think it's worth expanding upon that, because I just see this happening to a lot of people. We talk a lot about spiritual bypassing on here. And it's because whenever you're trying to, quote unquote, manifest a better life, you have to be very aware of the real possibility that you are bypassing what needs to be experienced or processed in order for you to get from point A to point B. Very often we think, oh, I'm going to manifest a better relationship, or I'm going to manifest more money, or I'm going to manifest better work-life balance, and it's going to like fix everything. When I externally get that, that person or that salary or that working less and having more free time, my life is going to be so much better. And we go about perhaps using visualization or affirmations or various kinds of self-concept, shadow work to get us there. And in that process, we often lose track of what's really important, which is how we are feeling moment to moment as this is unfolding. You see, in my opinion, and you're welcome to disagree, but in my opinion, it's never about that partner or that salary or that work-life balance or anything else. It's about you right now. Over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm not telling you not to do what needs to be done and, do what you should do to get that partner, to get that salary, to achieve that better work-life balance, to be a more, heart-centered entrepreneur. all that stuff you have to do. But what happens a lot of the time, and I'm speaking from experience here, is we fucking lose track of the important thing, which is, how do I feel right now? How do I feel throughout the day? What's kind of my default state, you could say, right? Like, what's my vibe, right? Like, am I okay? Am I at peace with myself? Or am I too focused on what I have to do next to actually appreciate that I'm here right now and everything's fine? Because when we are too focused on external things, which happens to most of us, especially if you are the kind of person who likes to get results and have gotten results in your life before, by taking action or by integrating these manifesting tools in like a powerful way, it's very easy to just become too goal-centered and not heart-centered. Because heart-centered is like, what do I have to do right now to feel okay and be at peace? Goal-centered is like, what do I have to do to get this thing done? And too often, the process of getting things done, as opposed to listening to our heart, listening to how we actually feel in the moment, the process of getting things done stresses us out. And we're unable to listen to our heart, to what we really want, what we really crave in the moment, which are often, for a lot of people I work with, and I think a lot of people in the community who are serious about this stuff, like peace, balance, love, harmony. Like, that's what we're really into. That's what we really want, is that stuff. But instead, we superimpose over it, that partner. If I could, finally make it so that, she understood me, my life would be complete. Or that salary. If I had that salary, things would be freed up so much I'd finally have that sense of peace. Or that work-life balance. If I only worked 20 hours a week, if I only had 10 clients, I'd have all this free time and finally be at peace. And the truth is, the whole time, our heart center is saying, that peace is here right now. You don't need that external thing to access that. Give me that. Often that heart of ours is saying, give me that. Provide me that if you can. And we don't. We don't. And often we get so stressed out about external things that we feel kind of overwhelmed. And we get to that place where we say, well, I'm just going to let go. This ties into, last video. I'm going to let go. Whatever that means to you, and there's so many interpretations of that. We so often hear, we just need to let go. Surrender. And if you watch the last video, or if you know my stuff already, I'm a huge fan of doing this. I'm a huge fan of feeling your feelings and like stop striving so much and just let go. But what this video is about, why I would consider it kind of advanced, I guess, is that if you think letting go when you've been striving hard to get something, and then you're like, this is not going to work. I'm just going to instead stop striving so hard and feel the feelings. Feel what comes up. If you do that as like a reaction to the 3D and not getting what you want as easily as you wanted, there's a very good chance it's going to blow up in your face. By that, I mean, we inadvertently put so much emphasis on getting what we want in the 3D, and especially in these manifesting circles, right? We say, oh, it's all about being, heart-led or following my passion, following my peace. But yeah, then you're actually doing stuff. It's so easy to get lost in the goal attainment. And then it's so easy when that happens, because we recognize it, because we're quote unquote spiritual, because we're self-aware. We recognize we're doing this, and we're saying, I'm just going to let go. I'm going to let go of the outcome. Let go of the outcome. And that sounds so wonderful on paper. I'm going to let go. But you're letting go and feeling the feelings often is just another part of this cycle, which then repeats itself because you feel the feelings, you feel overwhelmed, you feel that overwhelm. Maybe you realize, oh, I want more peace, I want more life, I want more love in my life, I want more harmony in my life. You feel that. And maybe you feel a bit better because of that. But then once you feel a little bit better, a little bit less overwhelmed, you go right back inadvertently to doing what you were doing before, being stuck in the 3D goal striving again until you get overwhelmed again. And then, Now, I'm not saying this is you, okay? I'm not saying this is you. It very well might not be. This video is not for everybody. This is a nuanced, advanced video. This is something I recognize in my own life, and I've recognized in many, many clients. This, quote unquote, letting go in this way, surrendering, in my opinion, is a reaction to striving too hard, and then you just are like, you're so worn out, you let go. And it's a push-pull thing in it. It ends up, it's like, this is discussed in so many ways in LOA. I'm thinking like pendulums going back and forth, like reality transurfing. Richard Dotz, the modern writer who I love, made so many videos of his stuff, talking about his stuff. I'll put the playlist link above to some of Richard's videos. Richard Dotz talks about this all the time. You just exhaust yourself from all this. I want something, I'm visualizing, I'm affirming, I'm journaling, I'm doing all this stuff. It's not coming. All right, I'm going to let go. And you're letting go in this feeling. It's like just another limiting thing. I think the real solution for most of us, and I'm all for feeling the feelings, don't get me wrong, as I said last video, the real letting go we need to do, a lot of us, is really fucking let go. And that is often not just feeling the feelings when they arise. That's not enough for a lot of us. To really process what we want and feel it more consistently in our life, peace, love, harmony, or whatever that may be, that deep stuff, those high ideals, like I talk about in my book, Money Your Friend. Shoot me an email, info@radicalcounselor.com. I'll send you a free PDF copy. Those high ideals, to access that stuff more. I think a lot of us cannot just feel our feelings and expect to access those high ideals. I think we have to be more honest, using both our mind and our heart to get there, our mind and our body. And by that, I mean processing often is not as simple as just feeling your feelings, or like letting go of the desire, quote unquote, letting go of the desire and feeling the resistance. That's often not enough. We have to really fucking process that. What does that look like? That can look like 100 different things. Not just feeling your feelings, but perhaps fucking screaming, talking out loud to yourself, yelling at yourself, going on a retreat where you don't speak to anybody for 3 days, being extremely open to how you're feeling, but then also discussing with yourself how you're feeling openly. Letting go, what I'm trying to get at here, it's very hard to describe. Letting go really is not a passive process. It's an active process. It's not just, the feelings are here, I'm feeling the feelings, and, the feelings arise, and they're going to shift. I mean, again, that absolutely is true. The feelings arise, they will shift. But that's not going to be a fucking enough a lot of the time. We have to let go with all of our mind and body. And that's a different ballgame. This is what they will not tell you in most books or most YouTube channels or whatever. When I say like let fucking go, I mean let go. Like in my book, The Joy of Not Thinking, I talk about using movement, doing wild, totally out of the ordinary things in order to let go of that resistance. Totally out of the ordinary. Just feeling the feelings is not out of the ordinary enough for a lot of us, especially if you're into these tools and have been for years. Like a lot of you watching this channel have been, like me. To really process, you got to be fucking, uninhibited. And letting go in the traditional wonderful way, like David Hawkins talks about in his book, Letting Go, can very easily be inhibited. A lot of these great spiritual sounding LOA teachings can inhibit you. While moving all around and going, whoa, is uninhibited. Active, not passive, not like I'm just going to let it come, whatever. Nah, fuck that shit. Here we go. What do you want? What do you really want? What do you really want? I guarantee you pretty much what you really want, you can get right now. Inwardly. And that's a bizarre thing to say. What I mean by that is not in some magical, esoteric, theoretical way. I mean, what you really want is a sense of peace or deep fulfillment or a deep sense, you could say, of ease and security with right now. When you have that, the external 3D doesn't matter that much a lot of the time. You have preferences, but you don't necessarily have required needs. You realize, I don't need that other person in my life. I don't need that higher salary. I don't need that work-life balance. Your external 3D can look just as messy as before, but you can be more at peace with it. That's what I'm talking about. That's real letting go. That's not just feeling the feelings. That's fucking processing the feelings, processing the thoughts. This is the kind of stuff, I work with clients on. It's very hard to describe in a general way because it's so unique to each individual. But there's way too much talk in the LOA community about letting go, and the spiritual community in general. Just let go, man. A lot of times that's spiritual bypassing. It's a limiting belief. So I hope that this video, even though the topic is difficult to discuss and explain, I hope that it made some sense to you. If you have questions, you know where to reach me, radicalcounselor.com. Check out the video below if you want an example of this more active processing. I made a video a few months ago that will probably help you with that. That video will be below. And until next time, allow yourself to really be, which means allow yourself to really let go in whatever way feels right for you right now.